I want Terry Crawford next. You're gonna make that happen? Oh, definitely. That's the fight that I want. That's the fight everybody else wants. Like I said, I'm gonna get these straps and I'm gonna go over there and take his shit too. Errol, congratulations. Terrific fight this evening. Thank you. Man down. Scratch CG. I know what time it is, baby. Terry's not coming for that motherfucking belt.
Yeah, what I do, YouTube? It's your boy King David in this thing, and I'm back at y'all again with another video. So before I get going on the video, man, y'all know what to do. Go ahead, hit the like button, and be sure to subscribe one time for your boy so we can continue to grow like we need to grow on this channel, man. Alright, man, so with all that out the window, man, y'all see what the title of the video is, man. Errol Spence versus Yordenis Ugas. Don't get carried away. You know what I'm saying? Don't get carried away. You know what I'm saying? And before we get to the crux of the video, before we do all the damage control that we need to do in regards to Errol Spence versus Yordenis Ugas, let's make sure we give props where props is due, respect where respect is due. Congratulations to Errol Spence Jr. for coming out with the win in what was a spectacular fight with Yordenis Ugas. You know what I'm saying? Errol Spence Jr. definitely showed his heart. Errol Spence Jr. definitely showed his boxing ability, his skill, his talent in this fight. And you know, I have a new level of respect for Errol Spence Jr. after watching this fight. Same way I feel about Yordenis Ugas. Yordenis Ugas showed the heart, the will, the soul of a warrior. You know what I mean? Getting in the ring, taking the amount of punishment that he took in this fight. But at the same time, never being knocked off his feet. Never ever being put in this position where he looked submissive in any type of way. He always looked like he was ready to fight. Never lost heart. Always ready to keep going and keep banging it out. And you know, he was ready to fight until the very end, man. And you just gotta respect that in the fighter. Point blank, period. So all out the window, man. Let's get to the point of the video, man. Let's go ahead and do this, man. Because you know, this was a good fight, man. You know what I'm saying? And you know, respect to both fighters. But at the end of the day, man, you know, it's a lot of dudes out here getting real carried away by this win. It's a lot of dudes out here getting real carried away by this win versus Yordenis Ugas, man. And you know, when shit like that happens, it's up to your boy to come out here and really put things in perspective, because y'all niggas just get way outside of yourselves. You know what I'm saying? So let me remind y'all of what the fuck this actually was, okay? You Errol Spence fans and you dudes that are just taken away by the moment, because it was a spectacular fight, man. When you watch a really good fight, sometimes you just get taken away by the moment, but you're not really thinking about all the things that led to this situation. So let King David go ahead and put it back in perspective for you, because this is what it is at the end of the day, man. So yes, this was a great performance by Errol Spence Jr., but let's not forget what this is. And what this was is, at the end of the day, is it was a cherry pick. This was a motherfucking cherry pick, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Yordenis Ugas had a belt. Yes, Yordenis Ugas is a tough fighter. We're not taking nothing away from Yordenis Ugas. But at the end of the day, we all know that this wasn't the fight to make. At the end of the day, this wasn't the fight that we wanted. At the end of the day, this wasn't the fight that proved anything. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't the fight that we wanted to see, man. It really wasn't. You know? And the reason why it wasn't the fight that we wanted to see was because we knew Yordenis Ugas wasn't the number 1 or number 2 guy in the welterweight division. Now, I mean, you could make an argument and say maybe he's the number 3 guy or the number 4 guy or the number 5 guy. Cool. But we don't want to see the number 2 guy versus the number 4 guy or the number 5 guy, because we know that 9 times out of 10 the number 2 guy is going to beat the number 4 guy or the number 5 guy. You know what I'm saying? So for you niggas to come out here and start acting like Errol Spence accomplished a feat, a miracle, he turned water into wine and shit, for you niggas to come out here and start acting like that, talking like that, behaving in that manner, I mean, it's pure cappery at the end of the day. It's pure cappery. I mean, let's not forget that Errol Spence paid Stanionis step aside money so that he could get this fight with Yordenis Ugas. And for what reason? When he had a fight that was already available, already plentiful and ready for him on the table with Terrence Bud Crawford, one that could have been made without the use of step aside money. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that this fight happened over a Bud fight in itself is a red flag. This was a cherry pick, y'all. Let's not get carried away. This was a cherry pick. You know what I'm saying? Reason number 2 why we need to not get carried away. Bro, Errol Spence looked vulnerable as hell in this fight, y'all. Errol Spence Jr. looked vulnerable as hell, man. It's a lot of people that's making the argument that Errol Spence somehow ran over Yordenis Ugas, like he just completely and utterly dominated Yordenis Ugas. That wasn't the case. Yordenis Ugas exposed a lot of weak points in Errol Spence's game. Yordenis Ugas hurt Errol Spence several times throughout the course of this fight. Yordenis Ugas dropped Errol Spence. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. He dropped Errol Spence, y'all. He dropped that nigga. Everybody want to talk about how he was fucking around with his mouthpiece and all that. Oh, he was fucking around with his mouth. Okay, you can say he was fucking around with his mouthpiece, but how the hell did his mouthpiece make it outside of his goddamn mouth? It's because Yordenis Ugas caught him with a clean shot and clipped his motherfucking ass and stunned him. Okay? And he was left in a daze. He was left in a stupor, so much so to the point where he lost track of what the fuck was going on in the ring, and he should have got stopped right then and there. If Yordenis Ugas would have seized the moment and would have kept punching, he would have stopped Errol Spence Jr. right in that moment. But even prior to that, Yordenis Ugas was hitting Errol Spence with a cleaner, more effective punches throughout the entirety of the first, maybe I want to say 4 to 5 rounds. Errol Spence was definitely throwing more punches, but Yordenis Ugas was landing the cleaner and more effective shots. And if Errol Spence is getting hit with clean and effective shots by Yordenis Ugas, a guy who's not even a known puncher, a guy who's not really known to knock people out, what the fuck you think's gonna happen against a Terrence Bud motherfucking Crawford, the dude with 7 to 8 straight knockouts in a row at welterweight? You know what I mean? What the fuck you think gonna happen in a ring with a Terrence Bud Crawford? You know what I'm saying? Another reason, you know what I'm saying, why we can't get carried away. Don't get carried away, y'all. Errol Spence was getting hit with the same sweeping right hand by Yordenis Ugas all goddamn night. There was one stretch of time where I saw Errol Spence get hit with the same sweeping right hand 3 times in a motherfucking row, and he couldn't make no adjustments. You know what I'm saying? For the people out there who want to rant and rave and talk about how Errol Spence has a good boxing brain and a good boxing IQ, anybody with a good boxing brain and a good boxing IQ, they're not going to get hit with the same punch all goddamn night. Errol Spence don't got the ability to make adjustments like what y'all niggas say, because if he did, there's no way he would get hit with the same punch all night long like Yordenis Ugas was hitting him with the same sweeping right hand all night motherfucking long. You know what I'm saying? So y'all don't get carried away, man. Don't get carried away with the bullshit, man. You know, at the end of the day, man, this was a great performance from Errol Spence Jr. I think that he looked good, especially after an 18-month layoff. I mean, one thing you can't deny by Errol Spence is the fact that the dude got a motor. You know what I mean? The dude got an engine. The dude was active. He was throwing punches in bunches. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, man, I mean, the weaknesses displayed in this fight is enough for any real guy who has an eye for boxing to be able to look at him and be like, okay, this dude is vulnerable. If Yordenis Ugas had any real power, he probably would have knocked Errol Spence smooth the fuck out. He would have knocked him smooth the fuck out. Errol Spence was getting hit with so many right hands, it wasn't even funny. throughout the course of this fight. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And then here's another reason why you shouldn't get carried away. Why couldn't Errol Spence drop Yordenis Ugas? You mean to tell me that Errol Spence landed as many punches as he landed? Okay? As many punches as he landed. This dude threw probably 1,000 punches throughout the course of the fight, right? He threw 1,000 punches, probably hit Yordenis Ugas with 50% of that, right? Maybe 500 punches throughout the course of the fight. You telling me he couldn't drop Yordenis Ugas not even once? You telling me he couldn't drop Yordenis Ugas not even once? He couldn't, nothing? Not even once, y'all? This dude's lack of power is concerning. This dude's lack of power is concerning. You mean to tell me Errol Spence is going to be able to get in there with a Terrence Bud Crawford and be able to keep Terrence Bud Crawford off of him? He going to be able to keep Jerron Boots Ennis off of him? He going to be able to keep Virgil Ortiz off of him? Let's keep it real, y'all. He went in there with a Yordenis Ugas, a dude who had 3 losses before he ever stepped in the ring with an Errol Spence Jr. And again, I'm not trying to take nothing away from Yordenis Ugas. Ugas is a hell of a goddamn fighter, and there's no doubt about him being a top welterweight in the welterweight division. But let's keep it a stack. Let's keep it a stack. Okay? Ugas went in there and lost to a Sean Porter, a dude that Terrence Crawford just stopped. Made it look easy. No problem. Easy work. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, Errol Spence is in here taking the same sweeping right hand, getting hit with clean and effective shots, getting hurt multiple times throughout the course of a fight with Yordenis Ugas. I mean, come on, y'all. There's a lot to be fearful of if you're an Errol Spence fan. Point blank, period. There's a lot to be fearful of if you're an Errol Spence fan. Point blank, period. You know what I mean? Come on, y'all. Y'all niggas out here getting carried away with the bullshit. Y'all getting carried away with the bullshit, bro. Now y'all niggas think that Earl could beat Bud now. Now y'all got that energy now. I mean, I'm happy to hear y'all niggas got that energy now, because this is what we want. If you a Terrence Bud Crawford fan right now, this is what you wanted the whole time. You was looking for this the whole time. You know what I'm saying? But man, the moral of the story, man, don't get carried away, man. At the end of the day, man, don't get carried away. Errol Spence had a hell of a performance versus Yordenis Ugas. But let's not get carried away. Let's not forget what this was. This was a cherry pick. Let's not forget what this was. This was an opportunity for Errol Spence to be able to pick up a win versus a guy that he should have beat. You know what I'm saying? I mean, most of the boxing public had Errol Spence winning this fight. It wasn't like Errol Spence proved the naysayers wrong. It wasn't like Errol Spence beat Ugas against all odds. It wasn't like Errol Spence was the underdog in this fight. Most people thought Errol Spence was going to win the fight, and he did exactly what he was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Some would say maybe he did a little bit better, but I'm not so sold on that idea, seeing how the fact that he didn't even drop Ugas not one time. He didn't drop Ugas not one time. The fight ended because of a technical knockout, meaning the ref stopped it because of Ugas's eye. So Ugas didn't give up. He didn't take the fight out of Ugas. You know what I'm saying? Ugas was still ready to scrap. Ugas was taking some damage. But he was ready to fight at the end of the day. Earl didn't beat the fight out of Ugas. Ugas still had a puncher's chance to win the fight because he was still hitting Errol Spence clean with effective, hard punches. You know what I mean? Here and there. You know? And everybody, and all you niggas, you know what I'm saying, to cap this shit off, all you niggas who's talking anything, saying anything about a premature stoppage with Sean Porter, I'm gonna need y'all to cut all the bullshit out. Grab the sharpest knife you got and cut the bullshit out with that early stoppage when it comes to Sean Porter. Because if you think that was an early stoppage, okay, I'm gonna need you to keep the same energy for this shit. Because Ugas didn't go down not one time. Ugas was still throwing punches back. Ugas's eye was closed, yeah, but he was still fighting. And the referee stopped this fight. So if you got the energy of Sean Porter's stoppage being an early or premature stoppage, I'm gonna need you to keep the same energy with this bullshit. Okay? You know what I'm saying? But the moral of the story at the end of the day is don't get carried away, man. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna wrap the video up here, man. But let me know what y'all think, man. Hit it up in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. And everybody, and I do mean everybody, be sure to hit that goddamn like button one time for your boy. You know what I'm saying? But until next time, man, I'm gonna holler at y'all. Peace.
Looking for you, Errol. Where you at? I'm in the ocean. You say you the big fish. I'm looking for you. Where your ass at? Oh, whole ass. Well, you got a lot of room to hide in this motherfucker. I don't know if I can find you in the ocean. See, this the ocean big in the motherfucker, man. We ain't gonna be able to find your punk ass out here. Got a lot of places to hide.